So according to you, Spitty, what is the future of music industry when AI is here?
All the big artists, they're probably gonna have to license their own AI, meaning it's gonna be hard to stop, me or you or anybody from creating AI of someone else, like AI voice, AI songs. But if Drake or Universal, whatever, if they license the voice and it's built into the system, they'll say, this song belongs to this person, so you're not gonna make any money off this video because of that. And so Spotify and those things, they'll basically need the same concept, but it'll need to be for the voice, where somehow they can register, be oh no, this is AI Drake, so you can't upload this. Or if you upload it, let's say I'm a regular person and I upload it, then what they could do, you can make the song, but you're not gonna make any money from it. All the money will go to Drake.
Welcome to AVILASH podcast. Today's episode is going to be about music and music industry, because today's guest Spitty is a Canadian rapper and has told about his life journey into music industry. We have also discussed about how AI is going to change the music industry in upcoming years. So let's jump into the episode, and before that, go and hit that subscribe icon and like this video right now and enjoy the full podcast. Tell me something about how Spitty becomes Spitty. What is your original?
My real name is Lanke.
Lanke?
Yeah. My family's from Gujarat, but I was born in America and I grew up here in Brampton. So I always grew up in kind of American culture, and I listened to a lot more hip hop, rap than I did Bollywood music. So that's what I more got into. And my mom likes singing and she's into music, and my parents party a lot, so they're always out at events. I hear a lot of music, but for me it was more hip hop that got my attention, so that's why I became Spitty. And Spitty, in rap, easy, simple ways, if you spit bars, if you spit fire, if you're spitting, that means you're good, you're really going for it, you're aggressive, you're fast, it means he's going in, so Spitty was just that, it was a name to show I really wanted to rap.
Good to know. So talking about childhood, you mentioned that you have lived in most of the American culture.
Yeah.
How was it?
For me, it's normal. That's what I grew up in. So I don't have a reference to compare it to. But in Brampton, there's so many immigrant people, right? Especially Indian people. So for us, for some reason, back in the day, I think it's different now, in 2023, but in the 2000s and the 90s, it was still not as accepted to bring your own culture and to speak in your own language or wear your own type of clothes or all that kind of stuff. So you had to really fit into the culture that was going on in the country. And in Canada, America, you have your mainstream whatever pop music, Justin Bieber. Back in the day, it was NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Justin Timberlake type stuff. But then hip hop was the counterculture, the stuff that you were not supposed to listen to back in the day. Now hip hop's the main genre, right? Every genre has hip hop. Bollywood has hip hop, Afrobeats is hip hop, reggaeton's hip hop. Every culture has hip hop. But in 2000, hip hop, people thought it was just drugs and women and sex and violence. And to this day, it's still a lot of that. But back then it was taboo. My parents they didn't understand English as much, so all they picked up on was the swear words, and so for them, they didn't like hip hop like that. Most Indian people didn't like it, parents and stuff, and for us, it was that's what united us all. It didn't matter if my friends were white or black or Vietnamese or Filipino or whatever, Indian, Guyanese, we all could listen to the same music and connect off of it.
Cool. Coming from Gujarat, what was the difference as a kid? Because you mentioned that cultural difference there was, right?
Yeah.
So coming from Gujarat, do you think I belong to a Indian family and there was a culture different when you going to the school?
Oh, but I didn't go to school in Gujarat. I was born in USA and I lived in Brampton my whole life.
So how you migrated from state C?
Because my parents weren't citizens in US either. They were just trying to get their citizenship. And then something happened, some immigration issues, and basically my mom couldn't get her citizenship in America, and then my dad's sister was here in Brampton, and my dad's parents, my grandma and grandpa, so they all came here, and then I was 3 years old or something, and There was an issue with my mom's immigration, basically. So she got stuck in Canada, and that's why we had to come. And like, she couldn't become an American citizen, and she was stuck in Canada. And so then me and my dad drove like in a U-Haul from Florida all the way to Brampton, which is like one whole day, like 24-hour drive, you know. And we drove with all our furniture and everything, and then that's it. We moved to Brampton for the rest of my life, and since then I'm a Brampton guy.
Cool. Do you think that was the destiny which brings you from States to back here?
Yeah, sometimes I wonder like what life would be like if I grew up in Florida. Nowadays in Florida, there's a big hip hop scene. Like rap's really big there. Of course, rap's from America, but Florida wasn't the main place back in the day. It was more like New York, Los Angeles. But now it's really popular. So I think back and like, what if I grew up in Jacksonville, you know? But it's hard to say. But for me, like now looking at my life, like yeah, it's better here in Brampton. Like my whole brand and like everything I want to do, like Brampton's the place to be.
Cool. You become the Brampton boy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that your mom was into the music, right? So that is how you picked up into the music. So how your journey started as a musician or the artist?
First, like when I was a kid, I think I always liked music, like just in general, listening to it and stuff. But then when I was like in second or third grade, my cousins, we got like upgraded our TV from like the cable or whatever. We got more channels, and my cousins showed me this channel. It's famous in Canada back in the day called Black Entertainment Television, BET. It shows you all the like back in the day, you know, like even now there's a lot of talks about like representation on like movies and stuff, right? So back in the day, Black people didn't have that much representation, so they just had their own channel that all their stuff would play on. So that's where you could watch all the music videos and the Black people movies and TV shows. And that's where I kind of learned about all the culture. And I saw people like 50 Cent and Nas and the pop music is like good. It's fun, like just general music, top 40 stuff, but it doesn't have that much substance, you know? And in rap, you can really say something. You can really have whole verses with like deep lyricism and talk about personal life, like real storytelling. You can have a message, or it could just be fun party music. You know, in rap, there's all that too. But there's some songs that get really deep and personal. That's what really spoke to me, and that's why like I was always like a smart kid. Like I like to read and learn and stuff, and I felt like rap was like teaching me stuff. And certain artists and music, like I was actually learning from them. You know, people like Tupac and like Lupe Fiasco and these people, Jay-Z. They actually like talk about business and like the systems of schools and the world and prison and things like in their music, you know? So it's like knowledge. And so that's what really drew me to it, was like this music's like, it's fun, it's catchy, and it's there's some depth to it. There's some lyricism. And it took me a long time till high school to start. And then in high school, I finally started. I was like really nervous, anxious as a kid. Like I didn't have the confidence. And then finally I said like, nah, I got to do it. And then still it took some months of writing and getting the equipment, the mic, making videos. And then finally I started uploading it like in 11th grade. And since then I've been doing it like not a week goes by where I'm not doing something music related. Nowadays, not a day goes by, like an hour goes by. But back then, like I was doing school and like, you know, work and music all together. So I was trying to balance it all, and it's been 11 years since then, you know.
So do you think as a kid it was difficult for you to manage your music career as going along with your studies?
I think I just didn't have that kind of level of organization or work ethic, and I didn't realize how much goes into being a music artist, how much goes into being a content creator, entrepreneur, whatever, you know. Like we just see, when you're like the audience member, all you see is the success, you know, like this person's selling this much product, this person's achieving these goals, you know, getting these awards, getting this money, but you don't see the actual work and that effort that goes in, you know. Even with this podcast, people see this video, but they don't see the time it took to set up the lights and set up the mics and all the behind the scenes, you know, the scheduling and things like that. So that kind of stuff is like, you have to do it, you know, there's no getting around it. And so for me, it's like, took a long time, but like now it's like, that's just where I'm at, you know. It's like do the work and good things come out of it.
That's very true, actually, you know, but because it's the journey who teach you, not the destination.
Yeah, that's it. And a lot of people say that too. Like even successful people like Jim Carrey said this, and J. Cole and stuff. And like, if you just focus on like the destination, then you're always gonna think of something else like to achieve. You get $1 million, you're gonna say, now I need 2 million, now I need 4. But if you could appreciate the journey and actually enjoy the process, then then your life will be good, because the life can only be the journey, right? The destination just comes, and you can only hold on to that feel good moment for so long before you want more. You know, even if the people win the NBA championship, the next year they have to play it, win again, you know, they're back into it. So it's like, you can only hold on to that success for so long. There's always something more. But if you're an NBA player and you can love the work of practicing and playing the game, then it doesn't, of course you want to win, but that doesn't determine or take away from your happiness overall.
Okay, let's talk about your music career.
Okay.
As an actual career, when you started as actual career, when you was all in.
So all in, to be honest, was just last year. But I started when I was 16, so I was in high school. Then I went to university. I went for bachelor's of computer science, and I did that. I did like internship program. I was working and doing the music. Then I finished the school. Then I graduated and still did the music. Then I was working in IT. Like, I didn't go fully into software dev because coding takes a lot more time, you know, like an effort. And IT is like kind of like, you can get jobs that are like 9 to 5, then you clock out. So like maybe it's a lot of work in 9 to 5, but when you're done, you're done. So that way I had my time scheduled like 9 to 5, IT, 5 to 1, whatever, like music every day, you know, and then weekends music. So it was kind of that balance. And then pandemic happened in 2020. So then I was working from home because I was in IT. So it was just work from home. So then I started doing it even more because now I could have my work computer and my music computer beside each other with nobody like watching me, you know? And so then it became even more music, more music. Then I even switched jobs to get a like more relaxed job to do even more music, until the point where in 2022, I did a tour like in my car. I drove through America. From here, I drove to Boston. And then from Boston, I drove through 10 cities like New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charlotte, Tampa, Orlando, Miami, all the way to Miami. That's like the most south you can go. And then 2 weeks I spent in Miami. And then I came back like Atlanta, Tampa, Jacksonville, Nashville, Indianapolis, Detroit. So like a whole circle. And that was like 6 weeks. And the whole time I was working from home, working remote. So I would work during the day, and then I would do shows at night or travel at night. And I did that for 6 weeks. And I was like, you know, like this, it was manageable, but next time, like I can't be working. Like I need to maximize on my time. So the next time, 3 months later, like last year in April, I went again, but this time 2 weeks, but I took my all vacation. So I'd use full 10 vacation days, 2 weeks vacation. And that was it. I think one day I had to work. Otherwise, it was no work. And so this time I went with 3 other guys who do like photography, videography. So during the day we could make content, at night we could do shows or travel and stuff. And that was a lot better. But I didn't tell my company that I was doing this, that I was using my vacation to do this. And in my head, I knew when I came back, I was going to quit like in a month. That's why I used all my vacation. And so when I came back, the thing was I was making content out of it. Like on TikTok, I was posting videos like, nobody knows, but I like used my vacation days to go on tour, and now I'm in America and I'm going to quit in a month. And then I figured no one in my work are kind of old. Like they're not going to be on TikTok. And the main guys, like my boss's word, but another guy like my age was, you know, and he didn't realize I didn't tell the company. So he just told them like, oh, like Spitty, like Longish, whatever, is like leaving, right? And they're like, we didn't even know. As then my boss calls me when I get back, like, I'm not on TikTok, but like I saw his video and I was like, I'm busted, you know? But the crazy thing is he founded this IT company by quitting another IT company. So he left one company to start his own dream, but his dream was IT. So he actually related and he understood the idea of following your passion, you know? So for him, he was like, you know, he was saying my passion is IT and yours is music. So like, I see it. Like, I see you have to go do it, you know? So like, they were like super chill. And like, they even said like, if, you know, hopefully things all work out, but if they don't work out, you can come get your job back. And I was like, yeah, hopefully I don't got to come back, you know? And so that was last year. It's been over almost 1 year and a few months, I would say now. And that's how long I've been like all in since then when I quit my job. Because that at that point I had savings from the tech job, and I'm making money through the music, through shows, through grants, through merch, stream. So now I'm just trying to fully not do savings and just fully be on music. But right now it's like a 50-50 split, you know?
Talk about your songs. Do you write your own songs or do you outsource that?
No, I write my own songs. That's like my favorite part of the music creation process, is the writing. Like earlier I was saying, I really got into it because of the storytelling, the personal things you can say, and the deep message you can talk about, the knowledge you can put in your music. So for me, the writing is like my favorite part. Like I can do that all day. And that was never hard. That was always easy for me. Where it took a lot of practice was the actual rapping, the flow, the delivery, the emotion, the performance. I was really shy to perform, you know, so all that took a lot of effort. But like I love writing, so like that's something I always do, and I want to do it for other people too. I've done a little bit here and there, but I want to get into it more because you can make a lot of good connections and make money that way, you know, by writing for big artists and stuff. So a lot of these big pop artists, they have the talent, the voice, but they don't have the creativity and the writing and that. So yeah, that's like one of my favorite things is the writing. I don't outsource that. I outsource the music part. Yeah, so I don't produce. I learned to play keyboard during the pandemic, like at home, and I play drums a little bit just because I like rhythm. But I don't produce because that takes a lot of time.
You know what? Regarding producing, I think it's a never-ending loop.
Yeah.
That is my take on that.
Yeah.
I was into music as well.
Yeah.
After my senior school back home.
Yeah. What did you produce on FL Studio?
So started with FL.
Yeah.
Then goes to Logic's.
Also Logic. Yeah.
Of course, Logic's is Logic's, you know.
Yeah. You had a Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
And even though at that time we was just kids, you know.
Yeah.
We don't have that much of finances as well, but we are able to get works around, you know.
Yeah, I know. We can't say here, but we know, yeah.
I don't know, go into that.
All in the people though.
If you want something done, you can done it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, and after that time, we went into that. I do notice just to produce something, there was some restless night. We are creating something, and by listening after a few times, it's a garbage. Let's do it from scratch again.
Yeah,
it's a never-ending loop. You can never satisfy when you're producing a music, especially.
I think so. I think you're right, and that was my thing because you have full control. You can change every aspect, every sound, every rhythm, every melody, and you can even add effects to every instrument. So it's like there's so much option. I think it's overwhelming, and it's hard to like be satisfied, like you said, with any one thing because there's always things you can change or add. Like it's not like time limit. There's no rules, so it's unlimited. And for me, that was like too much freedom. So that's why I prefer let someone else make the beat. And once I hear the beat, if I like it, I'm like, okay, this is the one. Then we can modify it from there. Like, change this part, loop this part, extend, you know, things like that. But if I had full freedom, I think I would never release because I would just keep making endlessly.
Super good question. Follow up to that.
Yeah.
Do you write first or do you listen first?
Meaning like for the music?
For the lyrics. Do you write lyrics first, then go to try to compose it? Or do you first listen to music, then try to compose it and write it accordingly?
Honestly, it really depends on how I came up with the song, you know? Because for me, I don't like making songs about nothing. I like to have like an idea, even if that idea is like something simple, some girl you met at the party, you know, like even something like that seems like this surface level, but like I want some concept, you know? So usually something in my life happens, something I see where like some lines or some melody comes into my head. So normally I would say it's the lyrics first because that's how I like grew up. And then I try to find music that fits that mindset. But then other times people send me music or I hear something and I'm like, oh no, this one is like just too good. Like this is like a hit right here, you know? So I need to be on the song. So it really depends. Recently this summer I dropped a few songs. So I can give you some examples. One is like my catchphrase, brr. That's like my catchphrase. That beat, my friend Ray Haley from Toronto, I was at his house. He was just playing some beats and he played that beat. And I was like, oh no, this beat is too nice. Like the bass was so strong. And then the hook, there's like this Indian sample. And I was like, this is perfect for me. He's not even Indian. I don't even know why he used it, but he just had it. I was like, this is the one. I need this. And then I made the whole song around that beat. You know, I didn't have any idea, but I said, this beat's so good. I need to make a song on it. Then the next song that came out this summer, Locked and Loaded, was like a dance vibe. That song, I had this idea, like I want to make this summer dance vibe. And then I started looking for the beats that fit that idea, you know? So it can go either way.
Indeed. I can relate on that as well.
Yeah.
It can go either way. Even though I do remember last I haven't write anything since 2017.
Lyrics or music?
Lyrics.
And when did you stop the music, the beats?
The beats actually, it was, as I mentioned, we were in a team. My friends was the one who taken care of that most of the part.
Oh, okay.
Well,
the lyric.
I was the most of the guy who just done the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I've never
in Hindi or Punjabi
and Punjabi.
Nice.
But I have written many things in Hindi as well.
Yeah.
So I do remember. So we was three guys and we record one thing, and many things happened after that. It was a beautiful piece, and we never released it.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
yes, happens. Some of the best songs, never get released.
It is still in my. I think it will be in my email.
Dang, we need to release that.
Yeah, leak it, huh? No. But yeah, talking about the lyrics,
Yeah.
it is most what I believe. Let me ask you first.
Sure.
What is your process of writing?
My process of writing?
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I would say sometimes it's pretty easy and sometimes I get really stuck. Like I write like 10 lines like in 5 minutes. Then I just sit there for like an hour. Like nothing comes. Then I write again like another verse. Then nothing comes. And that's how it is. It's like when it's flowing, it's flowing. Like it's just flowing. And then as soon as I stop or I get distracted or something breaks it or I don't know, just anything can happen. I get hungry. Then it just gets stuck. And then when it's stuck, it takes time. But my thing is like I'm like stubborn. Like I can't, it'll bother me if I start a song, like not a song, but like a verse, let's say one verse. If I start a verse today, I'm finishing it today. I don't care if it takes till 4 a.m. But like I can't leave it. Even if I have to fix it later, at least I did something. Then I can come back and say, okay, now let me fix these lines. But I hate leaving it like incomplete. So that's my process, is like I'll sit there. It doesn't matter like how long, 5 hours. But the thing is, 5 hours, maybe I only wrote for 30 minutes, 20 minutes. But I like it. Like for me, it's like I know when that 5 minutes of writing comes, it's gonna be the best.
It will be the best.
Yeah, the 1 hour sitting is like meditational. Like you have to go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate on that. Even though, as you mentioned, I'm not that stubborn.
Yeah.
I have many things which are just written 5 lines,
Yeah.
and those 5 lines are amazing.
See, that's what I hate, is I hate leaving it.
But the problem is, after those 5 lines,
It becomes like not as good.
nothing is coming out of that good. I cannot just connect anything to
Yeah.
those 5 lines.
No, I relate. And like that's the issue, is like sometimes I force it out, but sometimes I feel like I like to force it out so the next day when I come back, at least now I know like it can only get better from here. I did all the bad lines. Hopefully now when I second take, like it's gonna be better, So
It's more about you have the structure.
the structure, yeah.
Now I have to just make a shape
Yeah.
out of it.
And just getting it out of my brain, like onto the paper, So like I don't sleep on it or whatever.
So after writing it, what is the next step you do? Once you write something, do you read it, try to compose it, or do you get it verified from someone else? From, let's say, one of your same industry, one of your friend, you let him listen to your music or to your song which you write. Then he will, what is your process?
For me, I guess I'm used to just writing alone and like doing it a lot, that I don't always, not even always, I don't really take it to people like that. Normally I write it, and as I'm writing it and like listening to the music, I'm practicing it, like make sure the flow is good. And then from there, ideally, I'll probably try to practice it like full times, like out loud, like in the car, like really like understand and rehearse it, and then book the studio time and go and record it. So like the first person who will hear it besides me is like the engineer at the studio, And then normally they'll give me any input, or even I've done it enough now that I can hear when like it's not sounding as good now on the mic as I thought it was, But normally the engineer will give input like this could be better, let's do this, and we'll do a bunch of takes and pick through. And usually for me, my first like take at the studio for a new song is not the final. Like I need to take that recording and then hear it a bunch in the car, on my phone, like in headphones, and then come back a second time and fix it, because I think you could always get better. Like if you, even music I've released, when I listen to it now, I think like, oh, I could have done this better, because like you're always going to get better if you keep performing the songs, keep practicing them. Like you're just going to keep it, like just like any sport, right? You're just going to keep getting better. So you have to like stop and say like it's time to release. But like I like to do that at least one recording, take it home, listen to it, then come back, second recording, finish it, and then mix master, and then it should be good.
So it means like after the first recording, you try to check the vibe of the particular song.
The vibe, yeah, like make sure the emotion I want to deliver, like my voice is carrying that. Like if it's a hype song, I should be hype, should be soft, is the flow good? Like is my in rap, like especially with fast rap, the breathing's a big thing, because if you rap fast, it's easy to miss the spots where you need to breathe, and then the flow doesn't sound good. You can hear that the person's running out of breath, things like that. So some of that stuff takes practice too.
Have you ever tried mumble rap?
I've done like auto tune and stuff, but like complete mumble rap, like not fully, because I think for me it's even hard to like say dumb stuff. Like I'm just me, you know. Like it's hard to like, I don't know. It's hard to play a character that you don't fully relate to. So like, I could not all my songs are like so deep or whatever, but like even when they're fun, like there's some level of like cleverness or like good lyricism and like, my tone is more like clear. It's not so like mumbly. So I'm not like, that's not my style basically. Cool. But I like it. Some of it's good, you know. It's good to party to sometimes.
Experiment, you know.
Yeah, like there are different ways to use auto tune too. That like it doesn't have to be just like straight mumble rap, but it could be like interesting.
And what are future goals regarding music? That's a big question, huh?
Everything, you know, like for me, like I'm all in on the music right now. So like it's really my main goal in my life right now. So my biggest like music goal that I would say is like, oh, I made it is like if I did a tour, like headlining tour in America and Canada, like that'd be North America would be like good start. You know, if I can do world global tour, that's the biggest dream. Because when you have people come to your show and like really connect with you like in person, it shows like a real level of support. You know, they took their time and money to come out here and their energy to like support you, and like like the energy that you feel like in a live show is different than just like hearing it on Spotify or YouTube, you know? So I connect with people a lot like that at shows. So I love to do them and like I want to do more and more. So that's like my big goal. There's a lot of, you know, talented artists I'd love to meet or work with, producers. And right now, like I would say my current goal is to just be sustainable off music, you know, to different streams of income, to have that all add up to be a sustainable life. It doesn't need to, I'm not talking about like millionaire life. I'm just talking about like enough that I can keep going so that I can keep pushing this music and keep growing. But if I have to go get another job or side job or whatever, it's only going to take away time and energy from the real passion, you know? So that's my main focus right now is getting the money up. But of course, like it's not just focus on the money, because if I wanted to do that, I would just go get a job, you know? So it's about doing it in the right ways that are related to the music. And yeah, like I said, might have been before we turned on the camera, but I'm going to India this year. So, you know, like actually during the pandemic, I started pushing my music more online, and I started building a fan base in India and Pakistan, like all of South Asia. And now about 20%, 25% of my Instagram following is from South Asia, mainly almost all India, some Pakistan, and then like Sri Lanka, like all the countries. But it's like all because of just ads and online pages, Instagram pages, reposting my stuff. I've never been there in 20 years, you know, so they've never met me. I've never met them, but the people out there support me even harder than some of the people here. So I'm excited to go there, like meet with the artists, the supporters, just like build a network out there even more, and then come back and grow it here too. So like these are the two worlds I'm kind of working with, you know, like the ACC and the American scene, and I'm trying to bridge them and also like bring both of them up.
That is interesting, and that is the most important part of being an artist, that you can get love from all over the world. It does not matter which ethnicity or where someone is living.
Yeah.
If you're doing great, everybody will be appreciating you.
Yeah, man, for sure. That's music. It's the universal language, and like good music, you know, everyone can just feel it. So
Get back to your childhood.
yeah.
So how much support do you think you have from your family? Do you?
Support?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot. So when I was like in high school, I just started it, and I didn't really like show my family like or explain to them like how much I really cared about this like music journey. I didn't show them, first of all, and then second of all, they didn't know like I wanted to do this since I was like a little kid. They didn't know like all the behind the scenes, because a lot of that stuff happens in your own mind, you know. And so when I started, people in my high school, my friends and stuff knew, but not my family. And then in school, sometimes there's like contests, you know, from like different organizations, and sometimes they'll ask like to do a creative entry or something. So the first one that was like that was like at the end of grade 11. I think I just started rapping like or putting videos up on YouTube, maybe like a week or two. Only a couple of videos had gone up, and then we went to this like thing in Toronto with TD, and TD had this like financial literacy program, and then they were teaching us about financial literacy, and they had a contest where you make a video about financial literacy, and the top 3 entries will get prizes like money, a lot of different stuff. So me and my 2 boys, I was like, yo, let's make a rap. We made a rap about like money and like saving your money and investing and stuff. And we ended up getting like second place or whatever. I can't remember. But we each got $500, pretty good. Like we got like a day trip to Toronto or like a big award ceremony and stuff. And so my parents saw that. They're like, oh, like he's making money through like the music, you know, like through this kind of creative stuff. So like, okay, that's cool. Then it happened like 3 more times in grade 12. One, another financial literacy, I made like $200 more. There was one from like the teachers board or something. It was about civil disobedience. I made another $500. And then there was one from the Children's Mental Health Association of Ontario. I forget the acronym, but they had one and I did that one. And that one I made like $1,200. And so now it was like, I never saw any of this money. My parents were just taking it and putting it into like, I don't know what, savings or something for my tuition, I guess. But they just saw it as like a hobby that was like also resulting in money and like good stuff, you know? And so when I was in uni, they didn't really know. I was in Western, like in London, Ontario. They were here. They didn't really know how much of my time was going to music and how much was going to studies and stuff. So they didn't see the whole dedication. Then when I moved back to Brampton, then they started to see. And at first, I don't think they understood. They were like confused why I was putting more time into music than my tech or IT or whatever. But when the pandemic hit, I think it really changed a lot of people's mindsets, you know, on like what's even like the point of life, like what's the use of your job? You know, a lot of people were working jobs and they were called like non-essential jobs. So they didn't have to work. They were like laid off or whatever. And I mean, obviously IT is an essential job or whatever. So it's like that was going on, but it was like, there's more to life than just like your work and stuff. So I think people slowly started to realize that, my parents and family included. And then when I was at home doing it fully, they fully saw like the time that was going in, because now I wasn't outside, right? Because everyone was stuck at home. But we all saw like what each other was doing, and like they really saw the dedication that was going into the music. And then that was like 2020, 2021. And last year, when I decided I was gonna quit, I told them like only like a week before, because I didn't like know what they're gonna say. And then when I told them, they were like they're just like, yeah, like we see like, you know, your time and energy, like none of it's going to the IT or tech, you know, like clearly that's not like where your passions are. So like if you got to try it, then try it, you know. And they've seen me do it a lot. And in the Gujarati community, there's not many people that rap, or I don't know any other rappers. I barely know any other artists even, or like people in the creative scene. So like it's really rare, you know. So all of like their friends, like my aunts and uncles and everybody, like they like it because they see like me as just like the one guy doing it. It's like something different for them, right? And then, you know, like in Desi culture, like when your parents are always concerned about like what other people are gonna say. So if it's bad, it's bad, but if it's good, it's good. It's so good. Now it's good, it's good. Like now they love it, and like you know, like I think my parents are older now, they're more mature and stuff, and they're not so stressed about the typical like Indian, like you gotta be like doctor, lawyer, engineer, you gotta do this, and like they're more calm now. So like they're letting me just try it out, and they see like so much success has happened. I'm like, I'm pretty close to like really making it. Obviously the main thing is like making more money, but I have their full support. They've been coming to my shows like for years now. Like they pull up. Sometimes they have like some desi function after, they'll pull up like in Indian clothes, like the hip hop show. Then they'll go to their event. You know, it's jokes, but like it's good. It's good vibes.
So according to you, Spitty, what is the future of music industry when AI is here?
That's a good question. Like I was in computer science too, so like I actually did some AI courses back when I was in uni, and it's crazy to think that like, you know, now it's all connected, like tech and music and stuff. I think all the big artists, they're probably gonna have to like license their own AI, meaning like it's gonna be hard to stop, you know, me or you or anybody from creating AI of someone else, like AI voice, AI songs. But if like Drake or Universal, like whatever, if they license the voice and it's like built into the system, on YouTube they have this, like not with AI, but they have content ID, where if you use any song pretty much on YouTube has like a really good system where they can hear the song, and it'll tell you, it'll give you a copyright strike, and it'll say this song belongs to this person, so you're not gonna make any money off this video because of that, you know. And so like Spotify and those things, they'll basically need the same concept, but it'll need to be for like the voice, where like somehow they can register and be like, oh no, this is AI Drake, so you can't upload this. Or if you upload it, like let's say I'm a regular person and I upload it, then what they could do, like what YouTube does, is they don't take it down, they just take your money. So like you can make the song, but you're not gonna make any money from it. All the money will go to Drake. So that's where I think with the AI, that's where it is. Where it gets crazy is like when those artists want to start using the AI for themselves. Like if like Drake, just keep using Drake as an example. If he gets to be 60 years old and his voice doesn't sound the same, like he can't sing, he could use young Drake AI to keep making prime Drake songs. You know, when he's 25-year-old Drake, 35-year-old Drake, artists who were passed away, you know, Biggie, Tupac, Pop Smoke, like their estate could use AI right now and make fresh songs of the deceased people, and the deceased people wouldn't have any input because they're deceased, you know? So that's like a big thing that could happen, because what if you pass and then someone decides, not even someone, like your family estate, whatever, your grandson or something decides to make a song, but the words they're putting in your mouth are not like your opinions, you know? What if they start saying things that you don't align with? Obviously your dad's like, I guess, what does it matter? But it's still like a legacy thing, you know? Like your image will be ruined a bit. So I think that's where it gets interesting, is when the artists themselves want to use the AI. Like if Drake feels lazy one day and he wants to make a song, but his voice is like, he's sick or something, what if he just uses AI himself to make songs, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah, because like it sounds almost identical, the AI they have already, and it's only been 1 year basically since they've been making these things like for the public. So it's like crazy how fast it learns, because with all AI, it's machine learning. So the more you use it, the more it learns and the better it gets.
Cool, man. Last two questions.
Some tech talk, you know, for a rapper.
Always love that. Last two questions. These are my personal question I asked to myself as well. Number one,
Okay.
if you have to give one advice to your younger self right now, what that advice will be?
That's a good question. For me, I'm still thinking about the question, but I think my biggest issue when I was young was that I was so anxious and nervous, you know? So I'm trying to think, like, what could I even tell, like, my younger self that they would even, like, actually do? Because I was so shy to even, like, perform, or I was even shy to do class presentations, you know, just for school, for, like, English class, history class, whatever, like, let alone rapping and stuff. So when I started rapping, it was, like, mind-blowing to a lot of my friends and, like, my family, because they didn't see me in that light. So I think what I would tell to my younger self is probably just that, like, just start, like, as early as you can, like, and, like, start, like, in the smallest way possible. I think sometimes we see these goals, like, I want a podcast or I want to make a song, and we only look at it in, like, the big picture, and it feels overwhelming because there's so many things to do within that. But if you break it down to, like, making a song, okay, find a beat, write one verse, one line today, start with one line, 2 lines tomorrow, 4 lines, you know? If you can really break it down, then it'll feel less overwhelming, and then each day you'll just do a bit by bit. But for me, 6, 7 years old, I was like, I want to be a rapper. It took me 10 years to even start. And then when I started, I had to start doing it all really fast because I felt like I was trying to catch up, you know, with my other peers who were already rapping in high school and stuff. So that's what I would tell my younger self, is to just start, like, small.
Just start small. Second question.
Yeah.
If you have 24 hours of life, what are you going to do in that 24 hours?
That's funny. That's a good question, because last year I was doing interview questions, like, on the street and, like, at events and stuff. And that was one of my questions.
Oh, really?
People was, you only have 24 hours left to live, what would you do? Because I have a song called 24. It's my, like, second most streamed song on Spotify.
I'm hoping you have the best answer if you are asking this.
The crazy thing is, I always ask these questions and I don't actually have my own answers. So that's my fault. But the reason I made that song is because, like, it's the single from my album Full Circle, which is all about time. Like, I think time is, like, the most important thing we have, you know? Like, people sleep on this resource that's, like, every day it's going by, and if you don't spend your time today, it doesn't come back. Like, tomorrow's time is not today's time. That's a full different day, full, like, new set of minutes and seconds for you to use. And so, like, my whole song 24 was literally about that. It was like, all we got is 24 hours, like, every day, you know, like, to make the most of it. And there's a famous basketball player, Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
His number's 24, and he passed away. And that's when I made that song. And right after he passed, like, that line just came, and I was 24 years old at the same time, actually. And that line just came in my head, like, all we got is 24, you know, like, all we got is 24 in the sense of, like, Kobe, like, he was, like, really motivated, driven, like, hard worker. He put a lot of his energy and time into his passions, you know? And so, like, in that sense, it's like, yo, put all your whole efforts into everything you do. And then all you got is 24. It's like, every day you only have 24 hours. So don't waste your day, you know? Like, each day is a blessing. Like, if you wake up, make the most of that, because it's a blessing to be alive. So all that to say is, like, for me, if I had just 24 hours left to live, I would make the absolute most of it, you know? And for me, I think the beauty of life is just to have fun with people, you know? Like, that's, like, the ultimate goal. Like, course, there's a lot of work that it goes involving keeping a community alive and safe and together. But at the end of the day, we all just want to be with people. We all just want to have fun and smile, you know? So I would do the most things that I could do like that, like with people that would make me smile, you know? Like, I don't know, go to Wonderland or something. Like, I like playing basketball, go to the beach. Depends what season it is. If it's summer, then everything's fine. If it's winter, I think I'm going to be sad, bro. Last day of winter, I might fly. Like, I might take a plane to Florida and waste half the day just to fly to the beach, you know? Just to end it in like a nice warm place, because I was born in Florida. I'm Indian, you know, like the cold.
Yeah.
That's not a fun way to die. So if it's warm, that's key. If it's warm, life will be good, you know? Under the sun, just chilling.
That's very interesting because
Listening to music, of course.
yeah, one of my guests, he said the same thing, because this question, the answer for this question is also depends on the season.
No, 100%. Like, it 100% does. Because winter, when we're going to go outside for? We're going to be so cold. We're going to be more sad outside than inside. So
Yeah.
go straight to Pearson and fly to Miami.
And leave your rest of the day over there.
That's it. That's it. Right on South Beach.
Okay, that's all good today, man.
I appreciate
Thank you very
That's
much
great
for coming.
conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and do like the video, subscribe our channel, and hit that bell icon, because there are many amazing podcasts already in the queue. You will going to definitely love it. Stay tuned.